Welcome to Book Beast. We're here with Christopher Buckley,
And Lloyd Grove,
who is trying to take control of this interview and is an old friend of mine. Worked on the Yale Daily News together, did we not?
We did.
And
in fact, I think we made the Yale Daily News what it is today.
Indeed. And so
Whatever it is today.
Exactly. And so you've written your 10th novel, I think that's right?
15th book.
15th book?
Possibly 10th novel, but who can count?
And it's
really?
called They Shoot Puppies, Don't They?
Actually, they eat puppies.
Oh,
don't they?
okay.
But I'm glad I'm glad you're
No,
a close
I conflated
reader.
it. Right, okay. It's called They Eat Puppies, Don't They? And it's a satire of China.
No, actually, it's a very serious book. It's not a satire at all.
Fine.
Yeah.
And what I wanted to ask you is you've been pretty lucky in terms of topicality. I mean, here we are. There's a kerfuffle in China. We're going over there. Secretary Clinton is over there this weekend. And there's a whole business about dog eating.
The President of the United States is
Ate a
helping
dog.
to promote this book.
Absolutely.
I think it's, if I may say, somewhat delayed gratitude for my endorsement of him
in the Daily Beast
4 years ago in
Right.
the Daily Beast. But you know, at least he did it. It may well be that this is an election year, and he is counting on my endorsement again in the Daily Beast. But I must hold myself aloof, I think. But I am grateful that he's making dog-eating jokes.
I am too.
I think it's good when the chief executive does that.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a question now.
All right, and then I will answer it.
Good. Why? How did you happen on this topic of China?
How indeed? Why China, you might say?
Who lost China?
It's
Yeah.
it's been around for 4,000 years, and I thought it was time that that I did something about it.
And just
Actually, if I may be serious for a moment,
please,
Lloyd,
I beg you.
It started out as a book about the military-industrial complex, which you remember that thing that
Eisenhower.
President Eisenhower. You're a little young to remember him, but he and I were very close. And then it evolved into a book about China.
And
So it was an organic process, I think you might say. Lloyd, there's a comma there.
yeah, good. So seriously, what is your process in picking a topic and then researching it and then getting laughs out of it?
Well, the difficulty with writing satire in America is that you are in competition with USA Today, and it's usually a losing competition. This book, if you look at the acknowledgement section, which I'm sure you closely read as you did the cover of the book.
Notice I was omitted again.
I would have put you in there if you would just got my titles right. It's dated June 21st, and here is a book about Politburo people wiretapping each other, and what was the lead story in the New York Times last week? Politburo wiretapping. So it's really a question of trying to sort of stay a little bit ahead of the wave, but it would be a perfectly legitimate question for you to ask. Not that it would occur to you, being a perfectly legitimate question. Is there any point in writing satire today in America?
And the answer would be?
Yes, absolutely, because I need the money.
And you've done very well with these books. But how
okay. I'm not. John Grisham doesn't have anything to worry about in terms of
I
competition.
love his satires. But
It goes without saying.
But you've been pretty lucky. I mean, you did a book, your last novel, I think, was Supreme Courtship.
Which was about a
Sarah
Palin-esque character who ends up, if you will, on the Supreme Court of the United States. The book came out the day before John McCain designated Sarah Palin. So maybe I'm the new Nostradamus, or
That's what I was
if you
getting
will,
at.
the new Faith Popcorn. I wonder how many of your viewers, assuming there are any, will get that reference.
That's very sweet.
But
of
I'm
you.
very glad
Yeah.
to be here all the same, even with your viewership.
4 million a month, Buckley.
4 million a month.
So there you go.
So if like 10% of
so
them buy the book.
don't be slagging off our
does
viewers.
Does anyone do math here? Okay. But I could be fabulously wealthy if just 10% of the Beast TV viewers bought this book.
Now, tell
You
me,
seem very
be,
excited by that, and I
Yeah, well,
I feel your enthusiasm.
we're in a selling mode.
We are. Could you hold it up just a little bit more?
I'll try.
Yeah.
There we go. So, just a serious question about the process. When you've done your research and you've picked a topic, obviously, how do you go about fashioning the novel? I mean, do you heavily plot and outline
I
before?
heavily plot. I didn't used to when I started out writing novels, but then I found you'd go down a promising looking alley for 100 pages and find a dead end sign at the end of it, or as they say in England, no outlet. So I started plotting, and what then I spend months plotting, which is to me a difficult process. It's like doing a three-dimensional chess or a crossword, and as you know, I have no special ability at these things. And then what happens is if you create, I find if you create real characters, they sort of take it over from you, and then you end up deviating from the plot. Norman Mailer once wrote that he was a famous writer, Norman Mailer. Once wrote that he didn't like to plot because he felt that deprived his characters of free will, which I thought was sort of a cool point. If you plot rigorously, it's a kind of a Calvinistic predetermination, and they anyway.
Well, obviously,
Well, that was interesting, wasn't it?
to me it was.
Yeah,
I obviously have chosen no plot for this interview, but we're going to have to end it here. The
But
book
I was
is
just starting to enjoy myself.
well, your enjoyment was really not the point, but obviously. But They Eat Puppies, Don't They, is the book, Christopher Buckley, and go with God.
Good to be here.